Hello and welcome to my video. Today we're going to be making this card. Okay. It's very lovely. It is the Timeless Tulip stamp set and it is done on rich raspberry paper. The inks we will be using are Rich Raspberry, Blushing Bride, and Pear Pizzazz. So the first thing I'm going to do is create the top part on the Whisper white paper. So I have a piece of paper that is 4 by 5 1/4. It will fit nicely on my base of rich raspberry paper, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and it's scored at 4 1/4. The first thing I want to do is I have a piece of paper with a rectangle. Now I know a lot of people will just use one sheet of paper and they use it as a nice block when they're going to put colors. I like to use the rectangle. As you can see, I've used it for the other card, and you can use it over and over again if you're doing several cards the same or with the same effect. So what I want to do is I want to get it lined up, and I'm going to look at this and I'm going to see. I just want a little bit of white showing on the edge. You can decide how much white you want. It just depends on your taste. And then I'm going to line it up and make sure it's nice and straight on my template. And then I'm just going to take some washi tape and tape it down. So that way, when I'm actually coloring it, it won't move. It won't move from where it's being held. So I'm just going to put some washi tape there. I like to do all the corners just to make sure that it doesn't move slightly, because you really don't want it to move. You like the nice crisp edges when you're doing this. Well, at least I do. Maybe you don't. Maybe you prefer something a little, I don't know what the word is. You don't want it as distinct edge. You want a nice blend. Okay, now for this, the first color I'm going to start with is the dark one. I like to start with the darkest, which is the Rich Raspberry. Now a lot of people use the daubers when they are doing blending. I prefer these brushes. So I purchased these set of brushes just on Amazon, and I like them. I find it gives it a much smoother surface. Maybe I just wasn't using the daubers very well, but I find this easier for myself. Perhaps you'd like the daubers. So I'm just going to take and put it on the stamp. And then I like to dab it there just to kind of get rid of the dark. And now this is what I like about the template, is I'm just going to bring it across. Okay. And it gives it a nice smooth look. And you want to make sure that you start on the outside paper and end on the outside paper. You don't want to be doing it on the actual cardstock that you're using for your card. And the reason being is it tends to make a little darker dab when you first put it down. It's just habit. So unless you're excellent at the pressure that you put on the brush, I would suggest doing this. And it just makes it easier. And that way you're going to get a nice smooth finish. And that's what I like to see on my coloring. It's nice, smooth, blend it in. Notice I started a little too close to the edge there, so it's just a little smidgy darker. But you can see the edges right here and there where I first hit down. It is darker. Okay, and then I'm just going to brush it on here, get rid of some excess color, and then I'm going to get the Blushing Bride. Now for these, I have put little stickers on the bottom because I couldn't afford to buy all of the big ink pads. What I did is I purchased the little refills and then the empty pads, and I put them on here, and I put a little sticker on the bottom, and I store them upside down, and I can see exactly what colors I have. And I'm just going to put my brush on the Blushing Bride, and again, just going to bring it down, Just want a nice faint color. And I'm going to go up a little bit into where the rich raspberry is. And bring this down. Notice it's much lighter color, but it does blend nicely with the rich raspberry. So I'm just going to wipe off the excess, and then I'm going to grab some pear pizzazz. So pear pizzazz. Okay, and I'm going to I'm going to dab it in there. And I'm going to start putting the pear pizzazz on here. Now you can use any colors you want. You can blend down your favorite colors. You could do blues and yellows, or blue sky, green grass. That's the nice thing about blending the colors, is you can pick whatever ones you want. Now I went with green on the bottom because that's where the grasses or the leaves are going to be. And then the rich raspberry at the top. That's what I'm actually going to stamp with, is the rich raspberry. And notice I go up into the Blushing Bride. I almost said lovely lipstick. It's another nice color as well. Then I'm going to take and I'm just going to brush off the excess, and I'm just going to go back to the Blushing Bride. And I just want to bring a bit more down here. To me, I just didn't have quite enough pink going into the green. There. And that's what I get when I do that. And then all you do is flip it over. Take off your washi tape. You want to be careful. Sometimes the washi tape still grabs the cardstock. I know it's not supposed to, but I find it still does once in a while. So you have to be careful of that. Just be mindful of it. But it is the back, which I am going to glue down onto my card base, the rich raspberry. So you're not going to notice it, even if it does tear it a bit. So you just need to be aware of that, so that if it's something you're going to put face up, so if you're putting washi tape on something, you need to be really careful, because it can, as you see it is now, it is tearing this cardstock. Okay, but as I said, that is going to be down on my base and no one will notice it. So voila, we have this. Once we remove the template, and we have the lovely distinct lines. That's what I like about having the template. Okay, that's why I say some people don't like it. They like it to kind of blend out and into the white, and that's fine. If you prefer to do that, you can do that as well. I myself like that. It's very distinct. So the next step is going to be actually stamping on with the Timeless Tulip stamp set. This is the Timeless Tulip stamp set. Okay, it's lovely. I love the tulips. It also comes with a punch if you want to punch out tulips. I prefer to have them stamped. So you're going to go through and pick out the ones you like. I'm going to pick, I like the nice large one. And I just kind of see, oh, I think I might like it about there. I like it just to go off the edge. It's just the way I like things to look. I don't want it exactly perfect because nature isn't perfect. And I think that's where I would like the tulips to go. Now there's also a third one in there that's a bud. If you would like 3, you could do 3 in here. I think it looks full enough with just the 2 of them. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, I don't have a Stamparatus. I purchased this little stamping, it's called Stamp Perfect. I purchased it before I was involved with Stampin' Up, and I love it. So if you don't have something like it, I would highly recommend the Stamparatus. It's much larger than this, and it has 2 windows, I guess, or stamping surfaces. So it has one that comes back this way, and it also has another one that goes back the other way. So it is perfect so that I position it where I would like them to appear on the card. Okay, and then I press down, and then notice they just stick to the actual surface of the stamping machine. I don't want to say Stamparatus because that's not what it is. And I'm just going to put the color on my tulips. And the wonderful thing about this, rather than using a block, okay, and I do use those, is I'm going to put this on here and I push this down and I stamp. Now, what happens if part of this didn't have enough color and it didn't give it the effect I want? It doesn't look too bad, and actually I got it well covered when I did this. If it didn't, all I would have to do is put more ink on here, flip it down again, and it's in the exact same spot. It's perfect for when you're doing sentiments, because sometimes you're not sure if it gets into every groove on the text. The next step we want to do is the stem and the leaves. So I'm just going to put my rich razzleberry away, and I'm going to grab the Pear Pizzazz. All right, so now I'm going to grab a stem, and I think I'm going to use, it comes with 2 different size stems. I'm going to use the longer one. I'll use that for my tulip up here. Maybe I won't. Maybe I use this one. I'm going to try them both and see what I like better. And that's the good thing about this, right? You just try them and see how do you want it to look when you stamp it on there. So I'm going to say, that one right there doesn't look too bad. And then if that one's like that, I really think I want this one to go this way. So I'm going to flip it over. Okay. Yeah, I want it to look like that and then have the other one come over. So I would prefer that. So you just want to get it lined up. And that's what I love about these clear stamps. You can see exactly where it's going to go. So you can see it, okay? I am going to use my little apparatus here. Pick that up. Notice it also has the magnets, I forgot to mention, that hold the paper in place. So that's not going to move either. And then I'm just going to stamp up the stem. I know some of it will fall off, but that's all right. If you're really concerned about it, you can always add, oh look, I didn't add enough. So see, as I've been going down, I haven't actually pressed down yet, but I can see it hasn't. Oh, I'll show you what this does for, okay. So I'm just gonna push it down. And you go, oh, it does go down there. It doesn't go quite up to the top because I picked the top part, not the bottom. Or vice versa, I picked the bottom part instead of the top and I put it up there. So what I will do when I'm done is I will take a little marker and just blend up. Or if you want, you can always, okay, make sure, I'm just gonna put this on the chamois and clean it up. Okay, the chamois is a great thing. You always want to have your stamps clean before you start laying it on your paper. And what I can do is, I'm going to do that. And you go, what is she doing? But all I'm going to do is, oh, that wasn't very good. Okay. Gonna line it up. Okay, so I pushed it forward a little bit, lined it up as best I could. It doesn't have to be exact because I'm only going to put the ink at the very top, just the top, because that's what I'm missing up close to the bud, or up to the flower. So I'm going to take and push that down. There, okay. All right. So that's one stem done. Now, I'm just gonna put that on my chamois, get it cleaned up a bit. All right, now I take the other stem and I'm gonna line it up. And I'm going to move the magnets closer to where the stamp is, just so the paper doesn't move. Now see, you want us to pull that paper up. Okay. They're very sticky, these stamps, which is awesome when you're using it on your blocks or in a stamparatus. Okay. Just going to ink that up. And apply it. There. And now I have my stems on my tulips. So then the last thing I want to add are some leaves. And in this set, they have 3 different types of leaves that you can go through and pick whichever one you want. You prefer this one or that one, you have a choice. Okay, so I'm just pulling all 3 off, and it depends on what look you're going for as to what you want. I want it to go like that. That's not bad. So I'm just trying different leaves. How do I want it to look? And when you're doing this, make sure that you have the stamp side down, okay? Because it is going to look different. So if your stamp side is not down, and then you turn it over to stamp the color on, it's going to look different. So you want to make sure when you're checking this out that you want to have the stamp side down. I think I like this one better. This one just looks a little too big for this little flower. I like that. And notice I'm going off the edge as well. That's just how I want it to look. Doesn't matter. Now that leaf, well, maybe that's all right like that. Okay. Or do I want it to go more like that? And now, again, because they're plastic stamps, I can see exactly where they're going to go. And I can line them up exactly where I want them, so they're right on the edge of the stem. And then I put them in the machine. Okay, and then I'm going to ink them up. Get them nice. You can start to see the lines coming out. It's very detailed stamps. They're very lovely. And we push down, not too tight, just enough to make sure all the different areas are touching on the paper. Oh, perfect. Okay, I think that looks lovely. I love the way they look. Okay, and you can do yours whichever way you wish. I'm just going to wet these leaves. And I can just leave them on my chamois for now. Yeah, the chamois is wonderful. All right, so I'm gonna put this aside. Oh, no, not quite yet, because we have to do the sentiment. All right, so last time I did Happy Mother's Day, and that comes in the Timeless Tulip as well. It looks like this, the Happy Mother's Day, and that's what I did on this card. Okay, so Happy Mother's Day. And this time, I think I'm going to use a different one. So the one I've decided to use is Happy Birthday, and it comes from the Peaceful Moment set. And I love that Happy Birthday. These are lovely fonts. They look just wonderful, something different. So I'm just going to line up my Happy Birthday stamp. Put it in here. And use my rich raspberry. Such a lovely color. I love the deep richness of it. As its name, rich raspberry. Okay, and then I'm just going to stamp Happy Birthday on there. Okay, works wonderful. I don't need to redo it. I'm happy with that. take this, I'm just gonna rinse off my happy birthday stamp. I don't like to let it dry on there. I don't want it to muck up the actual stamps. I keep them nice and crisp. Okay. So then, this is what we have. Okay. A very lovely card. Not very difficult to make. Didn't need any dies. Okay, right. So you just have to take the back of this, and place it on the card. Okay, and there we go. And there you have yourself a lovely card that anyone would be happy to receive. Okay. Thank you for watching my video. Hope to see you again.